Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Wonderland Asylum. We're back today with issue 22 of the Hachette Partworks release of Titanic, the ship, the legend. Okay, so quick peek at the magazine. We have Titanic on the front page. Much the same, Ned Parfitt, the Titanic paperboy. He's the lad with the famous sign about the Titanic disaster that you see in all the photographs, articles from the papers, the New York Times, the Guardian in Manchester, the Engineers Memorial. So yeah, again, some more detailed stuff into the kind of the aftermath of the sinking, etc. And then we're on to the instructions. So what do we get in today's issue? Okay, so in today's little brown box, it's not a particularly heavy one, I must be honest, but there is quite a lot in it, and quite a lot to do. So, get it out. We have there another LED board. Now, as I showed you previously, the LED board I got for the forward superstructure was actually backwards. The cutout was on the wrong side, so I had to feed the wires down the other side. Hopefully that won't cause me issues later on. And then in the paper bag, oh, magnificent, we have an elastic band. We have another extender cable for the funnel. And we have a sheet of photo-etched windows. Now, they actually look really, really nice and really, really detailed. So we're going to be attaching them to the both forward and aft boat deck housing that we have so far, which is like the officers' quarters, the gymnasium and everything like that. As you can see, nothing else in the box. So, for this, I am going to need both of the forward superstructures, and I believe we're actually attaching the other funnel as well once we're done. So we'll basically adding a lot more detail to the boat deck housings that we have. So if you give me a moment, I will go and get my housings over and we can get started. Okay, so here we have the boat deck housings so far. Now the first thing it wants us to do is break off the smaller square windows that you can see on the frame. So I'm going to put this deck housing to the side for just now, and you can see they're going to go along that deck housing there. So what I'll do is I'll show you how I take the photo etch parts off, because it's telling you to hold it down and use a knife. I don't tend to do that because what I find is doing that puts a lot of strain on the part and you end up bending it. So what I'll do is just use the point of my tweezers to start moving it slightly, just like that. You can see it's off center just there. And then what I'll do is I'll just wiggle it back and forth. And that's it off. So I'll pick it up and let you see it, if my tweezers will allow me to do so. No, they will not, so you're going to have a look at it in my finger. Give me a second. There we go. That is what the window looks like as it pings off into the distance. That's the problem with using tweezers that don't have a rubberized tip, is you do risk things flying off in all directions. So when you're fitting these, so I've had a look at the instructions and you can see there is a kind of small hopper window. There's a line across the frame. I'll try and show you in my finger, you might be able to see a little bit better. But there's a line that goes across the window frame. You can't see at all. About 2/3 up. That has to be pointing upwards. And all we're doing is attaching these to every single one of these holes that go round here. So I'll put the first one in on camera to let you see. Again, you're not going to need too much glue. So I've got enough on this applicator to spread all the way around. Then pick the window up. That's the most challenging part, is picking the window itself up. Then lie it on, slide it into place, and it looks just like that. That looks good to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the rest of the windows on this deck housing, and I'll come back to you when I'm done. Okay, so as we can see, that is all of those windows fitted. Looks really good. I actually quite enjoyed that. Quite therapeutic. But what I will say is they don't give you any spares. So if you lose one, you're done. But moving that to the side, we're now going to be doing the same on here with the slightly more ornate windows. Now again, to remove them from the photo etch sheet, I take my tweezers, poke it till it turns, and then do the same again. And once it's circled a few times, it falls off. Again, you'll see what I mean about these ones being more ornate, because they were in an actual passenger area. This is the officers' quarters, which were on the officers' promenade, which passengers weren't really supposed to be on. So again, what I'm doing is my glue applicator. I like using this because it gives a nice precise point for me to apply my glue with. A little bit round the rim of where we're attaching the window. These should be slightly easier, but I bet they won't be. Because of the size, they should be easier, but because of the shape, nah, easy as pie. There you go. That's that one in. I will do the rest of them and come back to you when I'm done, because there's no point. I'll put one more in because I've got one more broken off. And that's the other thing, is I haven't attached this down. It does tell you in the magazine to attach it with a bit of masking tape. I didn't do that because I didn't want to damage the paintwork that's on the piece. So it means I'm going to have to take them out to turn this upside down in a few moments. Spoiler alert. Yeah, there we go. Again, very nice. Looks fantastic. So I'll get the rest of these windows broken off the sprue and attach them, and I'll come back to you in just a second. Okie dokie. So that is them all in as well, and I think you'll agree the amount of detail that these windows add is just fantastic. Now don't forget that one at the back there. That one there was the only one that was a mild annoyance to get in, and even then it wasn't that bad. It was just, I would say, mildly irritating. So the next thing we need is the circuit board, and we're going to be working on the underside here. Again, what we're doing is taking the deck housing, getting the circuit board, and apparently the wire runs through the back. It seems to be in this picture. Yep, so it goes this way with these two LED points there and the wire at the back. And now the other thing we have to try and do is get it to clip into these clips. Now my advice is not to try and force it, because you will just break the board. So what I'm going to do is push it under using my tweezers. Now the advice they give is if you remove the funnel you can get in at the top of the clip there to move it, manipulate it somewhat to make it easier to get the board under. So I'm going to fiddle with this and manipulate it, and I'll come back to you once it's in, because I think this might take me a little while to get it in properly, because it's not actually even wanting to go into the hole at the moment. So I'll be back with you in just 2 moments. Okie dokie, so that's that done. What I ended up doing was using a small drill to push in here and manipulate the clips out the way, because that's going to be covered by the funnel anyway, so I marked it up a little bit, but it doesn't make any difference, and it avoided any damage to the board, which as you can see is clipped in there quite nicely now. So the next thing we're doing is getting the tank for the second funnel. Again, as we did before, run the cable down the side nice and tight, but not too tight. Get the elastic band, which comes in its own pretty little baggie, and if it'll come out because it's stuck to the plastic, all we're doing is slotting the rubber band around the wire, so that when you slide that down into the funnel, the connection is in a nice place and you're not going to have to fish around for it. Not overly fond of the design, but you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. So then what we're doing is taking this cable extender like that, and the male end, which says K2 on it, the male end goes down through the funnel. I'm not going to do it that way. It tells me to put it down through the funnel, but I think a far easier way is going to be to feed the female end, which looks like that, the bigger plug of the two, is to feed it up through the inside of the funnel, because there's a far bigger hole to grab it, and then pull it up through just like that. Easy does it. Now next, all we're doing is, as I had already done before, feed the wire down through here, and you can see there's a cutaway in the circuit board to allow the wire to go through easily. Feed the wire down there, line the two pegs up, push the funnel down like that, then turn it upside down, and we're going to be attaching the funnel with 2 of the AP screws that come with this pack. They're the only screws that come in this issue. Again, we only need 2, but they very kindly gave us 3. So again, you can see the 2 screw holes here and here. Again, just line it up properly till the threads bite, and don't over tighten it, because if you over tighten it you'll strip plastic out, and that's not a lot of fun. I mean, in fairness, the funnels do sit pretty tightly anyway, but again, you don't want them to be not secured from underneath. And there we go. Fantastic. So, again, just these cables come under there. This cable can be nicely, as I've done with the other funnel, rolled up and stuffed inside. For just now, the tank I'll put up beside my other tank until we need it. The dome for the grand staircase can get dropped back into place, as can the glass sheet that sits over the top. And that is us done for this issue. So what we've done is we've fitted the lights for the rear half, and we've fitted the windows to both the front and rear half of the front of the forward boat deck housings. So yeah, that's us done for issue 22. Okay, so that's us done for issue 22. In issue 23, we're moving away from the superstructure back onto the hull, and what we're going to be fitting is the base and cover for the winch housing. Now that is, it's a little bit of a surprise. The anchors are not going to be fixed, and unlike Bismarck, they're not going to be motorised either. What they more or less are is they are on a friction powered pull chain motor almost. So as you pull them out, they'll then slowly wind back. Yeah, we didn't know the anchors were going to move at all, so we have to call it a bonus, I think. But yep, that's coming in issue 23. I do have that here. I do have all the way up to issue 32 here, actually, in all truth. But yeah, that is us done. You can see there the detail in those windows. It just looks fantastic. That is what the boat deck housing looks like at present. It's nearly done. There's only a couple of little holes that still have details to go in them on the boat deck. But yeah, really impressed with how this is looking. If you are too and you want to see the rest of it, feel free to drop me a like, and of course subscribe to be notified of when future videos are uploaded. Any comments, complaints or criticisms, please drop them below as well, although hopefully you won't have any criticisms. But yeah, so we do have 2 spare windows, but they were the big ones, no spare little windows. But oh well. So again, as I say, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very soon for issue 23. Thank you.